Islamic mystic Mahmoud Shabastari says, every particle of the world is a mirror. In each atom lies the blazing light of 1,000 suns. In the pupil of the eye, an endless heaven. In the pupil of the eye, an endless heaven. Anybody in the mood to do a little armchair traveling this morning? Yeah? So come with me. Let's travel. The place is India. The religion is Hinduism. The woman is old and determined. So relates to that. See her in your mind's eye. This old woman has walked a long, long way. Days ago, her feet blistered and bled, but something within her still pushed her forward. Her back bends from the bundle of food and offerings she carries on her shoulders, but still she walks. She could have taken one in the long stream of buses carrying other Hindu pilgrims to that distant temple. She could have packed herself tight in a rickety cross-country train, but for this Hindu pilgrimage, this 83-year-old woman chose to walk on her own feet carrying her towards that temple, that place of power. A deep, aching need calls her. She yearns to be seen, to be seen in a way that will allow her to feel whole. And so she mingles her footprints with those who've walked before her for thousands of years, crossing the heart of India to the sacred temple on Chamundi Hill. And now, in the chilly early morning, the Temple Mount soars 3,486 feet above her. Now, only 1,000 stone steps separate her from the 7-story shrine rising from the summit. 1,000 steps to the shrine of the sacred Mahadevi, the great goddess. As the woman makes her way up those last steps, she's engulfed in the sounds of horns and drums, the smells of incense and flowers, the pulse and the push of thousands of worshipers cramming towards a single portal, towards a single door. And she now hears the slow and insistent chant calling on the mother goddess. Chaimundaye, Kalima, Kalima, Kalima. Oh, Kalima, your radiant blackness shines within your shrine in my heart, just as in your shrine on Chamundi Hill. The sound of that chanting builds in intensity and speed as the woman steps across the threshold, enters the inner sanctum, and her aged eyes behold the gold statue of the great goddess, Kalima. For this Hindu woman, that statue is not a created representation of the Divine Mother. That statue is not just a symbol of divinity. This woman's Hindu faith tells her she is beholding the actual true divine presence of the goddess, Kalima. And then there are the eyes. On that gold statue, the goddess's eyes loom large. The divine eyes seem to see all, seem to see that old woman who has walked so far in the pupil of the eye, an endless heaven. Chamundaswari, the goddess of Chamundi Hill, or Kali Ma as she is also known, is a ferocious Hindu goddess of protection and destruction. I like that balance, protection and destruction. Legend has it that when a deadly demon began terrorizing and devouring people, Chamundaswari killed the evil one and brought peace to the world. The goddess, I like that, saves the world, not the guy. Yeah, you can clap, that's good. The mythological place of her victory was the Chamundi Hills in India, and the temple was erected there in her honor. But those who make the pilgrimage to Chamundi Hill do so to do more than just honor or worship as they might in a Western religion. Their need goes deeper. The faithful journey to the temple to be seen. Can you say that with me? To be seen. To be seen. So let me explain. And let me tell you why this matters to us as spiritual seekers and as Unitarian Universalists, so far removed from India and so far removed from the worship of statues and stone images. Hindu statues and images of the divine are characterized by really big eyes. If you look at the eyes of the various Hindu gods and goddesses in statues and paintings, you will see that their eyes are exaggerated. The eyes are sometimes huge. They are deep. They are open. They invoke a quality of infinity itself. The eyes are not large by accident. The eyes are large because eyes are the key to the Hindu religious experience. Those eyes create the possibility for darshan. Darshan. D-A-R-S-A-N. Darshan means to see and to be seen. Diana Eck, a noted Hindu scholar at Harvard University, writes, when Hindus go to a temple, they do not say, I'm going to worship, or I'm going to the temple, but rather they say, I'm going for darshan. It's not a matter of prayers and offerings. They go to see the image of the deity. But even more importantly than seeing the divinity, they go to receive darshan, to receive the grace-filled glance of sacred eyes. They go to receive the healing that comes when they are seen full and complete in their humanity. Bent or broken, old or young, depressed or happy, lovely or misshapen, in being seen as they are. Not as they think they should be, but as they are made whole by the eyes of the divine. That is the key element to the temple experience. The hymns, the chants, the readings, the priests, the traditions, the building itself are all secondary. The open eyes are what matter. In the pupil of the eye, an endless heaven. No matter our religious beliefs, being seen for who we truly are is a sacred experience. Look around. If many of us are honest with ourselves, many of us have been taught to transform ourselves into what others need us to be. We've learned the roles, and in some cases the rules, to be able to pass, to get by. Many of us believe that most people don't want to see or hear what we feel, what we need, or even who we are. Many of us have learned that most people don't want to see the messiness and the confusion each of us carries inside. We've learned that only parts of ourselves are publicly presentable. Other parts must be hidden away for acceptability or approval. We must conceal the rough edges, the broken places. We create rainbows to hide our rainstorms. If this resonates in any way, type yes, Y for yes, in the chat box on our virtual campus. We're afraid that if anybody truly sees inside us, they're going to run screaming from the site. Okay, I hear it resonates a little bit. So, what have you hidden from view? What don't you let anyone see? What don't you let yourself see? There's a great price to pay for the fragmentation of our frailties, and we all have frailties. We cut parts of ourselves off from others so they can't see us whole. We cut parts of ourselves off from our own self. We become segmented people, compartmentalized creations, rather the complex people we naturally are. And then we wonder, why do I feel out of sorts? Why do I feel like something's not right in my life? Why don't I feel like me? What we ache for is darshan, to be seen. We ache to be seen and loved. Richard Seltzer, who is a cancer surgeon at a major hospital, tells this true story of ordinary, extraordinary darshan, of being seen. I've shared this story before, but it is one of my favorites, and so I share it again. Richard Seltzer writes, I stand by the bed where a young woman lies, her face post-operative, her mouth twisted in palsy, clownish. The tiny twig of the facial nerve, the one to the muscles on her mouth, has been severed. She will have that twisted mouth from now on. To remove the tumor in her cheek, I had to cut that little nerve. Her young husband is with her in the room. He stands on the opposite side of the bed, and together they seem to dwell in the evening lamp light, isolated from me, private. Who are they? I ask myself, he and this wry mouth I have made. The young woman speaks. Will my mouth always be like this? She asks. Yes, I say, it will. It is because the nerve was cut. She nods and then is silent. But the young man smiles. I like it, he says. It's kind of cute. All at once, I know who he is. I understand, and I lower my gaze. One is not bold in an encounter with a god. Unmindful, he bends to kiss her crooked mouth, and I so close I can see how he twists his own lips to accommodate to hers, to show her that their kiss still works. I remember that the gods appeared in ancient times as mortal, and I hold my breath and let the wonder in. This is darshan, to truly see, to truly be seen. As Diana Eck says, beholding another is an act of worship. Through the eyes, one gains blessings. In the eye, in the pupil of the eye, an endless heaven. And we don't need to do this literally with our physical eyes. I think of my friend Abhita, who is visually impaired. She sees deeply without her eyes into the souls of those she meets. We can behold with our ears as we listen to someone, our hearts as we open them, our minds, our attention, our intuition, and our awareness. As Unitarian Universalists, we may not often stand in hospital rooms and create crooked kisses for our beloved. As Unitarian Universalists, we may not often climb 1,000 steps to stand before a goddess and receive darshan from her two large eyes. But here, in our spiritual community, on campus, and in the virtual world, we have hundreds of eyes. Here, we have hundreds of chances to be seen. Here, we have hundreds of chances for us to be the one who sees. Our Unitarian Universalist faith can become a form of darshan. When we come to this church, we don't ask one another to leave behind our doubts or our discoveries. We don't ask each other to leave behind our questions in order to adopt some system of belief that someone else figured out and tells us is true. We aren't asked to pretend to practice or believe in something that doesn't feel authentic to us. Here, we are seen as the unique, free-thinking, and questing spiritual beings that each of us yearns to be. Here, in this Unitarian Universalist faith, we are seen not as sinners needing salvation, but as human beings, beautiful, good, and flawed. We are all flawed. But how could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? Here, we yearn to be recalled to our best selves again. Here in this community, as we are seen for who we are, we also see in each other the potential to become together something so much more than who we are on our own. We want traveling companions on the journey. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more exciting. When I think about it, and our service, our time of sharing joys, sorrows, concerns, and gratitude can become darshan. Many eyes look upon us as we share those things that move us, whether in the chat box or in our virtual campus or by writing them down on the card in the Alluvial Avenue sanctuary. Our eyes and ears witness each other's stories, and in doing so, we bless each other. This also happens through the work of our pastoral care team, who see the needs of the most vulnerable among us and reach out to support. Social hour after the service had been a place of darshan. It's also a place of coffee. Remember when we used to drink coffee here? You're lucky on the virtual campus, you can drink coffee. We can't here. So, social hour has been something we lost in the first couple waves of the pandemic. But we're now reestablishing it on our Alluvial Avenue campus. So they get coffee on the virtual campus, we get social hour on our actual campus. We are encouraging you to stay after the service if you feel comfortable and sit together. There'll be socially distanced, seated outside, and beginning today in the sanctuary, a non-socially distanced grouping. You'll have a chance to meet some folks you may not know and share a few questions based on the sermon to guide the conversation. Staying after the service on our Alluvial campus and talking together is a form of darshan. This happens when we dare let ourselves be seen and share things that are personal and spiritual. We've got plenty of surface-level chatter in our lives. I think most of us are here to go deeper. Last Sunday in the afternoon, I attended service with my friend Pastor Simon at Woven Community, and I noticed that after the service ended, The congregation stayed together and stayed so long he had to flash the lights to make them leave. We want to bring that back here. But I want to tell you, if you are new or newish to this congregation, just exploring who you are in relation to this church, exploring your own spiritual life, your own spiritual questions, one of the best ways to go deeper into darshan is with a small group of people who form together a chalice circle on our virtual church campus. Chalice circles are the Unitarian Universalist version of Bible study. Yep, it's true. But instead of the Bible, we study the sacredness of our own lives. Our lived experience, we believe, is a form of lived scripture, and we listen to and see the experiences of other people. With the trained facilitator, Chalice Circles meet twice monthly on Zoom to explore spiritual and meaning of life type topics. It's the easiest and best way to find connection here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, if that's what you're looking for. A new season of Chalice Circles is about to begin just in another 2 weeks. All you need to do is show up and the magic happens. You'll be seen and you will see others. You'll make friends with some amazing people. You can see Patty at the visitors table outside on our Alluvial campus, or indicate in the chat box that you'd like more information, and we will follow up, I promise. Another way our church can become darshan is by getting to know each other. And this is hard. I'm going to say that. It's hard coming into a church new when there's not a pandemic. It's even harder when everybody's masked and some of us are social distance. But we have to figure out how to do this. We can't stay isolated from each other. We yearn for connection and to go deeper. There are some amazing new faces exploring our church community. Many of you are here right now. Here on our Alluvial Avenue campus, do we stay in our old group of friends? And many of you have old groups of friends. And you stay with just them, holding on to what you already know? Or do you see how daunting it can be to try to enter a new community, especially during a pandemic? Do we do more than welcome, but do we get to know those who are new? It is easy to have designated greeters. Well, sometimes it's easy to have people volunteer to be designated greeters. It's easy to welcome people at the door, or in the chat box on the online campus, but it's harder to have all of us welcome these new faces into friendship, if that's what they want. It means that we must see others' needs before our own. And to our new friends who are exploring this place and this faith, either here on campus or so many of you who I know have found us online on our virtual campus, you too must present yourself to be seen. You must open your eyes to see where you can connect if that's what you want, where you can find your place within this community of so much possibility. This is just as true on our virtual campus, connecting in the chat box, but especially all of our online classes and workshops. That's how you meet and get to know each other. That's how you have darshan. For no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show, as we sang in Lean on Me this morning. Also, seeing the world beyond these walls can become darshan. We can open our eyes and see those in need, those who are being pushed to the fringes, be it access to health care, those who need clean water or living wages, those who have been pushed to the fringes because of their marginalized identities or the colors of their skin. We can see the destruction our need for convenience is bringing to this fragile planet Earth. And we can allow what we see to transform us into people committed to healing the world. My friends, to see and to be seen, this should be the work of a church community. As I often say, church is not a spectator sport. This is the heart of our Unitarian Universalist faith. The hymns, the chants, the chalice, the readings, the minister, the traditions, and even the building are all secondary. The open eyes are what matter. Our open eyes are what matter. Through those portals, we can make each other whole. Through the pupil of the eye, we'll find an endless heaven. Que así sea, bendito sea. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen and amen.